All right. I think we're recording. Mariano, I appreciate you being on this busy Wednesday. Actually, I can refer to you as neighbor now that you're in the lake. And at any rate, so as you're aware, we have videos every week or every other week, and we try to provide content for our listeners. And when I heard what you got going on, I said this would make an excellent video podcast. So again, I appreciate you being on. For those that well, basically what we're going to cover today is not just rehabbing, but what Mariano has going on is he's really systemized, the whole process and really focused a lot in the beginning stages so that once you close on these properties, you're in and out extremely fast. And, we want to dive more into that. So it's really like a pre-planning phase and systems and applications that you have in order. So again, appreciate you being on. I know a little bit about your story. I know you have a little, fortune builder's background, but for those that aren't aware, why don't you just tell us a little bit how you got involved in real estate and then we'll dig right in.
Sure thing. Thank you, Ryan. Awesome to be here. I always watch your podcast, and it's an honor to be here and share a little bit what we'll be doing today in the market. And thank you for having me.
I appreciate that.
I'll tell you a little bit about me. And we started doing real estate about 6 years ago. And by starting is when we joined Fortune Builders. And it took me a while before we started doing business by buying or selling houses. But that's what I count as the beginning of the journey that it changed my life. And since then, obviously we learned, we started doing wholesaling and started doing rehabs, and the development of the business. Also, or the traction of the business actually wasn't for Fortune Builders, but the local meetups, and especially NGRSN. That's where we met most of our business partners throughout these years, where we met John Steingraver, which he's my mentor, and he's always teaching us and showing us new ways to do business. And part of what we're going to be talking today, I owe it to him because he's doing something even crazier than what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, excellent.
So the business took us in different directions throughout these years, which we went, an hour and a half away from here to do a rehab, which we made money, but I will never do it again, for example, and then realize that business is everywhere. And if we focus on our local business or nearby, we won't miss those opportunities, and we can still do rehabs and be more productive. We experience added levels, new construction, and I realized that you need to have not only systems, but you need to have a good team to focus into those type of businesses like added levels or new construction. And looking back, I always say, well, what I've been successful on, and it's been local, close by, and rehabs where we went in and out, right? And we also realized that the key factor of delays and problems with rehabs are inspections and permits that we need to pull, and approvals, or things that will delay the rehab for months and months. We used to do rehabs in 8 months, 10 months, 6 months, 7 months, just to complete the rehab and put it on the market. And we made money, but really, in some of them we didn't make money, we also lost money. And you can miss the rehab budget by a little bit, by a lot. But if you miss the time or the whole time of the rehab, the whole profit is gone. That's my experience.
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I mean, I was, doing business all over the place, all over the state of New Jersey. And then, I had to recollect myself and say, you know what, let me iron out the process. Let me start local and then build on out from there. So, I mean, you need a solid foundation to build on, or else, instead of having a concrete foundation, you have like sticks where something falls through, it comes down like a stack of cards crumbling. So, and the other important factor is obviously time is money. And exactly right. I mean, I've done plenty of rehabs, and every day you may not see it, but there's money coming out of your pocket, whether you're paying the holding cost or your private money lenders, and that's not cheap. And from my experience, um, the biggest thing that a lot of people may overlook is the beginning phases, right? Like your scope of work, for example. If you have a couple items that are missing from your scope of work and you're halfway through the rehab and something pops up, that can cost you. It may not be a big, maybe just putting in a window isn't a big deal, but hey, you have siding up already or whatever else. Now you're undoing some work. It's costing you delays, and it could be a lot more costly. So a big part of this is obviously the more upfront work you do, the easier and the smoother the rehab process is going to go. And again, when I was talking to you and finding out, hey, you were in and out in a week, I'm like, you got to tell me more. So you said, listen, we really ironed out the beginning, the planning phase, and all that. So I'd love to, we could start off with maybe like a high level aspects as far as what that looks like, and then we can dive in a little bit into each of those.
Sure. So as I was saying before, the key factor for delays is inspection. So we try to focus on buying properties that are no full gut, obviously. We're going to try to understand what are the properties that we're buying, and if we need to pull permits or not in the scope of work that we're going to realize or we're going to perform. And we have the key factor, and you say, is also be proactive, right? Before you buy the property, you need to know what you're going to do to the property, have the list of materials and ready to go once we purchase the property. And that's how you do it in a week, and also you have to have people ready to roll in the day that you're going to start the rehab, and you have to have a schedule set so everybody can work with each other and don't step on each other and perform this in a week. And I can show you, maybe I share the screen in a little bit, and I show you how I have set it up, the schedule. But I think it's important to understand what are the items that you don't need permits, okay? And this is how you can do this. Obviously, if you need to pull permits, we won't be able to do this in a week. You have to, as you purchase the property, you put the permits, you wait for the approval, and then you can start work, and so on and so on. But there are properties that you can do what's called ordinary maintenance, and that's by the code of New Jersey and the building codes. And also, actually, I can show that to you as well, where it's basically when you do direct replacement on the fixtures, and you don't rearrange the plumbing, you don't rearrange or put new lines of electrical, you don't really need to pull permits, okay? So if I'm focused on replacing the kitchen just the way it is, pull the cabinets, pull new cabinets back in, I can even replace traps, I can replace the valves, appliances, and I have a brand new kitchen in only a few days because I had planned ahead, and that's the heart of the rehab, okay, the kitchen. The bathroom, same thing. If I don't rearrange where the tub is and the sink is or the toilet is, I can choose to do direct replacement, and in 2 or 3 days, I'm in and out of that bathroom. And that's a big change of our business.
So that's a big, interesting point, because I know you've done some serious construction, removing walls, just as I have, putting in the LVL beams and opening up the layouts and whatnot. So it sounds like your buying criteria has actually changed, where you're like, okay, we're looking for properties that just need basically updating, no gutting. We don't have to update the electrical or the plumbing. We're just doing swap outs, really.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, the business plan has been changed. I won't say no to a full gut rehab if it makes sense and it's close by. I just went to see a property in Montclair yesterday, and it's just, you can't do direct replacement there. These older homes, and the electrical is really old, and you need outlets everywhere. So that's a full gut, and I would do it for the right price and by dedicating or using a different technique or a different system to do that rehab, and not what I'm going to show you. So it depends. If you buy properties that were built in 1970, 1960, 1980, this property you can do a direct replacement. If you're buying a house that is 1920, you won't be able to do it. And that's when you have to open up walls. And, you know, in these properties, we're buying it by a level in Parsippany in 10 days. And, you know, I could, you know, get rid of some walls and open it up and make it more likable, or for today's people's standards. They want everything open concept. But my goal is to provide a good product, but not to overthink it. And if they want to do the opening up the wall or not, and I don't care if I don't sell my property at, you know, the highest price in town. You know, I care about delivering a good product, not cutting in corners, and put it back on the market right away. And with that, if I focus on all those items where you just need direct replacement, there's a lot of things that, you know, people might don't know that you don't need permits. For example, you know, they just changed this last year, I believe it. You know, you don't need a permit for roofing. Cabinets, directly placed on plumbing fixtures.
Your service was a little, and just in case, so we heard roof, and then I think you were probably saying like windows if it was a direct replacement, but it kind of cut out a little bit after not needing a roof for, not needing a permit for a roof.
Sure. Right. I said roof, siding, windows, direct replacement we're talking about. If you're putting a new window in a wall that doesn't have a window, obviously you're going to have to pull a permit and make sure you bring it up to today's standards. But if you do a direct replacement of a window and put in the same material, and you don't need a permit. And so now with the windows today is a little tricky because just, I don't know about you, but if you order the window, and some of the providers that I have, they telling me 5 weeks, 6 weeks, just for the windows to come back.
Your backlog, it was 3-4 weeks, and it was about 5 weeks when. So
for this house, I bought the windows before we bought the property. I already bought the windows. I ordered the kitchen. You know, I have to think ahead of time to perform this business plan. That since we buy it, in 10 days, that property is already on the GSMLS, and we're sending postcards and doing the marketing for the open house.
That's impressive.
And that's the goal.
That's impressive. I've never done a rehab or light rehab in 10 days, so I could tell you that's pretty impressive to say the least. So I guess we could kind of dive into that part. As far as like, let's say your inspections, right? Like, you know, we come in, we'll look and we'll say, okay, we could rearrange this. This has got to be swapped out. But if we're just doing a direct swap out, I'd imagine that once the end buyers, they're going to have their, you know, home inspector come in and, you know, at that point, do you do any type of testing or whatever to make sure that, hey, I don't want to go ahead and put in all new stuff to find out, there was an issue with the electrical. Now I got to rip out walls. Now I got to pull all this brand new stuff that I just put in, get the permits. So and I'm just assuming here, but I'm assuming that there's probably more that goes on in the inspections versus like, okay, I'm planning on pulling it out anyway, versus, hey, that's going to stay. You want to make sure that it's going to pass once your end buyers.
Sure. It becomes sometimes we encounter some things like, you know, you have to pull permits for some of the stuff if you want to upgrade it. What I tell you, what I've done in the past is we did the rehab in a week, and the electric panel was like 60 amps. So any rehab would say, well, we'll replace that because we need to put at least 100 amps electric panel. But what I thought is, I know it has to be replaced, but my goal is to come in and out, and that can be done after we close. And the way I did it is, okay, in the home inspection, it's going to come and say, you got to replace the electric panel. So I'd rather give it credit to replace the electric panel than just do it myself.
Right.
And, you know, obviously not all the buyers will entertain that, but it happened to have, they wanted to do upgrade on all the things, so they needed to upgrade the electric panel. So I gave them a credit, and they were happy with it. I also provide most of my rehabs. I provide a home warranty, so they, if there's any issues, they can rely on that for at least a year. So those things that not all the time you can do this, but if the house already has a dishwasher, already has a stove and a microwave, already has a washer and dryer. Even this house had an AC unit and a furnace. I didn't replace the furnace because it was working properly, but when a home inspection came, we did a test, and if it was any issues, I give it credit. So, and
Right.
those are big items that people are worried about.
Sure.
But if we focus on, we put a new roof, we put a new kitchen, new bathroom, new floor, new molding, we repair windows, doors. But it's enough for a new home buyer to buy and move in there that don't have any issues. And if they want to do any upgrades like electric panel, they can do it by us giving them a credit.
Right. Now, I mean, let me ask you this: as far as because when I'm going into houses and it needs a full gut rehab, obviously there's a select pool of buyers. Um, you know, and that's basically a cash buyer, right? They're not going to be able to sell technically to a mortgage buyer because they're going to be contingent on a C of O, et cetera. So, but is there the same level of motivation for these homeowners that might just need swap outs? And I mean, obviously you could pay a little bit more because you're going to be in and out faster. But I mean, especially in a hot market and stuff like that, are you, as far as getting these properties that just need a little bit of updating?
Well, it's probably a different buyer. We're selling a house we sold it for 465, and maybe if we would have done all the upgrades that maybe another rehab would do it, they would sell it for 500. So I'd rather do in and out so I can focus on finding the properties, creating systems, and in 10 days I can just focus on a new rehab instead of just waiting for permits and failing on a permit or waiting. And this is a big factor in the contractors as well. Sometimes you cannot bring a contractor until you pass on one inspection and that contractor fails, or he took another job, so now he's delaying you. So you have all these things. Okay, so yes, I sold it for $35,000 less if I were to do the full rehab. But that rehab would take me 3 or 4 months.
Right.
In some cases.
So in and out, less headaches, less moving parts, and just move.
Yes, and the more we do it, the more efficient we'll be. And by having a contractor dedicated for that week, if you have an issue with the plumber is there. If you have an issue with the electrician is there. And everybody can work together and make this happen. And it's been very successful. It's a lot of problems, and you have to be proactive, and you got to be ready to act while these things are happening. So not only we buy all the items that we're going to need, and we arrange all the contractors to be there, but I have one person that's ready with a truck to go to Home Depot, come back, and okay, let's go. We need this. We didn't see that when we did the scope of work. No problem. We'll fix it.
Right.
And it's a rush. It's not like everybody's taking their time, and you have to accomplish a mission, and you got to get in this day, because when you finish this day, tomorrow the other contractor's coming, and he's coming.
Right.
And so you can't delay things.
Sure. So, I mean, it's obviously the big part of this is being very, specific on the type of properties that you're going to buy to allow you to do these swap outs.
Absolutely.
Why don't you maybe take us down the path as far as like what the process looks like? Because, again, a lot of this work seems to be all in the upfront, right? It almost sounds like the day of closing, you're probably in there gutting it that day or the next day. And it sounds like you even almost have the material on site. Well, it has to be probably the day or day after almost.
Absolutely. So I'm actually working on this property that we're buying in Parsippany, and let me see if I can show you the spreadsheet. I don't know how to show.
Let's see. You might be able to. you'll see it says share screen. If you hover, if you go down below, it'll say share screen.
Let me know if you can see it, or I should be able to share screen.
Yeah, it should be on the bottom there.
Host disable attendee screen share. You have to let me do it, I guess.
It won't let you. Let's see. Let's put, I'm going to make you the host.
Okay.
So let's see. You're the host, so now you should be able to.
Let's see.
Let's see if that works. There we go.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we see your sheet here, and it's itemized per day.
So let me go a little smaller so you can see. We usually, and this is also getting ready for everybody. We buy the property on Monday, and in this case, we're gonna buy, yes, by Monday, but we already asked permission to the seller to clean up the house. As you know, sometimes there's a lot more than furniture, and with this one is, I don't know if you saw it, but I took a picture, or I did a video a couple of days ago. There was beer cans everywhere, or in 2 rooms.
I did. I responded. I said it looked like our first shore house at LBI.
Well, so this is the house, and we I didn't put it here, but we already started cleaning up the house, and we fill up a dumpster with furniture and trash and some other stuff. But the day of before the closing,
before you actually close on the property, you're in there starting to clean up.
Yes.
Okay.
So by the day we buy the property, we can start removing cabinets and appliances and carpet. And as you can see right here in the demo, I put remove carpet, base molding, remove appliances, kitchen and cabinets, remove soffitting kitchen, remove tub, shower enclosure. So everything that is going to come out is going to be done this day. Okay, so I have a crew, and as you can see, I have color coded here, so I know who's going to be taking care of that task.
Yes.
For example,
very simple.
you see green is Arnold's going to be doing all this work. So is the drywall, bathroom, and the tub, and starting the replacement of the windows. So, and also this tell me that I know who is going to do that work, and I already hired somebody. I have to confirm the painter, for example, on the second day, and pretty much everybody's going to be out of that second day, where the drywall is going to be installed or repaired on the first day, and the second day we already started painting. Painting walls and painting ceilings. And then while we do that, we can also do the work outside. For example, that day is going to be done the roof. The roof can be done in one day. They're in and out. We're going to start siding as well on the second day. And I want to tell them how I want it. And I want to do the siding starting from the front. And then on the secondary, they're going to continue on the side and then on the rear. And so I give them 3 or 4 days to finish on the siding. And they have to do it in that manner, because after them, they're going to come the landscaper. Okay, you'll see how it will develop. So the second day, after we pass the demo, we do the painting. And then this is key, finish bathrooms, install wall. The first day, we're gonna install the tub in the bathroom. And the second day, we're gonna install the floor in the bathroom, okay? And now hold on, let me see. Oh, right here. So the first day, we're gonna replace the tub, and then we're gonna install the floor. So that's the first day for the bathroom. And then the second day, we're gonna install the wall tile, the toilet, the vanity, and the mirror. And if you do direct replacement, that's it. That's all you have to do in a bathroom. And this is a full bathroom in the hallway, okay? There is a half bathroom, which all we're gonna do is just replace the toilet and the vanity. And that can also be done in an hour. So the third day, we're gonna have installed luxury luxury vinyl planks. I put vanity in there, but it's vinyl. So I'm gonna put vinyl planks and luxury vinyl planks in the kitchen. So that will save me of installing hardwood floors in the kitchen. And not a lot of people will like that, or maybe a lot of people will say, I want tile or I want hardwood floors. But I'm gonna put good quality vinyl planks, so I'm ready for the next day, where or actually in the afternoon, when the kitchen installer will come, which they will do the kitchen installation of the cabinets first, and then the granite will be installed on the same day. And this is huge, because this releases of many other things that we can just start finishing and retouching and do touch-ups.
So let me just interject for your granite, because typically granite's going to take a few days. You need your guys on board probably coming in. Again, your granite guy probably came in, took the, what do you call it, when they map it out?
Yeah, they draw, or they do them.
Templating. Did
they map it out?
Yeah, they templated. Did did you have them come in before you even closed on it? Hey, here's the template we want. Make sure it's ordered and ready to go.
Exactly. The day they come, they already came yesterday, and I have a quote and already bought the kitchen. So he already knows what kind of granite size is going to go for the kitchen that is already there.
Right.
Okay, and we're not changing anything. And as long as he knows the kitchen that he's going to install, as soon as he finished the cabinets, the granite guy can come and install it right after us, or after him installing the cabinets. And he installs the sink. He does all the crown molding for the cabinets, and that's all he does. So he can come in and in one day installs the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And that's huge. Right. And that's a big part of this process, just having someone that can come in and just dedicated to perform on that and get in and out. If I have one contractor, maybe a contractor can do all of these things, but then that contractor will take me maybe a month to do this, right? Mm. And in a good timely manner. But if I can just be organized and be ready for everybody, and just focus on enforcing the system, I think this can be done. And the first couple that we did, we found some problems, and now I'm fixing them. And as we getting more familiar with it, I know that certain things can be done after the others, and you say, well, okay, maybe next time we'll do it this way. Right. There's always going to be mistakes, right? But it's okay. It's okay. We'll fix them. And we are not running against the clock to win anything, but right. Just the key for this is to create a system that works smoothly and can be in and out on a rehab like this in a week or maybe 10 days if we encounter bigger problems. Right. And worst comes to worst, even if you encounter a challenge, whatever that sets you back 2-3 days, you're still looking at a rehab in 14 days, which is very respectable. Yeah, if you see, I'm going to show you a little bit further out. So as we get closer to the weekend, I usually leave the, on Friday we put the appliances, we finish painting the bathrooms, we install the grout. These are finishes, right? Mm-hmm. We do touch up, we do clean up inside. We're finishing up outside with the siding. And then Saturday, we're working specifically only outside and only the flooring inside, as you can see. So we're gonna sand and provide the same first coat of the hardwood floors. And what we're gonna use water-based, so we can apply the second coat on Sunday morning. Right. And that's also, sometimes you have to wait a couple of days and 2 or 3 days. You have to have heat, that's important. In this case, we do have heat. If you don't have heat, you want to do this, you might have an issue because the plaster won't dry, the paint won't dry, the floor won't dry. So I have to be ready, and I know the heat is working on this property. So I can do this. And if it's cold, we can still do the rehab, and those are things that you get you delayed. If we don't have heat, we cannot do this. It's really hard. Things won't dry, so
For
you
sure.
can't get in and out.
I, I love
Go ahead.
No, I love it. I think that that the simplicity is amazing. I mean, when the more simple of a system that you have in place, the easier it is to scale. I have in my business, I don't know, maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I got really complex things going on, which makes it difficult, to scale, bring on people, etc. But just how simple this is and just following along, you got me almost second guessing that the rehabs I'm looking at.
You might leave that wall now. Huh? You won't take it out. Huh?
Well, one has fire damage, so I'm stuck with that. But
Wow.
yeah, I mean, very, very intriguing for sure. I mean, to be able to do this amount of work in this fast amount of time, it's just very appealing, especially from the whole aspect of what you're saying, dealing with the inspectors. I mean, it's just a headache, and the timeline that you've shortened this down to is pretty amazing.
And you know what? This is possible. And I mentioned John Steingraber before because he was the one that made me believe in this. And he does this in 24 hours, which is nuts. But he's done it. He's done it. I witnessed it. He invited me to one of his rehabs, and it's the same thing. But you just have to be ready and be proactive before you purchase the house. But and he actually would tell you he probably won't do it in 24 hours. But the way that he did it is to prove that it's possible. So if he can do it in 24 hours, why can't I just do it in a week? And
yeah. I'd love to see that. I mean, was that roof, siding, all that? I mean,
everything. He's I think one of his rehabs, I don't want to talk for him, but I think he said he spent like $90,000 in just a 24 hours rehab. So he did everything.
Right.
But everything that is direct replacement, it doesn't need permits, and you can do it. It depends of again, you cannot do this with all the properties. Based on the year was built and how it was kept and everything else. So you have to look at that. If you are in the area that all the properties are built in 1920, and then probably this is not a good business model for you. But where we live here in Rockaway, Parsippany, and all the areas that we do business is and close by, there's a lot of bi-levels, split levels, ranches that are built in that era, and you can easily do direct replacement without taking much of the resale price of the house, right? And so in some cases we have bought a ranch that it was a 2-bedroom, and then on that one I'm going to pull permits. I'm going to do the plans. I'm going to add a 3rd bedroom, which was possible, and I'm going to take the time necessary to do it with the extra bedroom, because I know that extra bedroom is going to jump up the price tremendously. But all the similar properties that are 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, even 1 bathroom, because everybody says, well, you need a 2nd bathroom or a half bathroom. Well, we focus on what we have and do the best we can.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think this is definitely a game changer for sure. Let me ask you this now: as far as implementing this with your team, right? I mean, how did something like that look? It was just like, okay, we've had a crew that we've been using for a while. Hey guys, here's how we've been doing it. Here's how we're going to do it. How was that transition? Or like, let's say somebody isn't doing as many rehabs as you're doing. Maybe, they want to, they've done them here and there. They're GCing it, whatever it may be. But they say, this is a great new component that I want to implement. But a big part of that is obviously your team. So
absolutely.
How would something like that look? I mean, let's just say is this something that's possible for guys, let's say, that you're bringing on board for the first time and saying, okay, look, this is how this is going to work. This is your part. I don't know.
This needs a little bit of experience level to try to perform this. I won't do this or won't recommend to do this on the first rehab, because probably by on the first rehab you won't have you built your team yet, right? And for this, obviously, you need your team, and you cannot only rely into one contractor. Like for the paint, I have 2 or 3 painters that I can even count with them if I wanted to do this rehab. But if they are busy with other properties and they cannot focus on these few days into my property, I need to find somebody else. And if they are not ready to start and finish in those days that I have available for them, I need to find somebody else. And also, always a new contractor is difficult because you don't know how they're going to react, if they're going to show up on that day. So as you build your team, this gets easier.
So you may have something similar to that. Oh, sorry, looks like you cut off.
Say it again. You cut out.
Yeah, it was cutting off.
Yes.
So this is something that, maybe let's just say if someone's starting off, doesn't have the same experience you do, maybe that may be extended out to, let's just say 30 days, which is still a respectable timeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in reality, it's okay. You want a team in place that's used to working together, at least the majority of them, and then kind of have this upfront conversation of this might not be what you're used to, but this is the way the flow is going to be. Here's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, and that's possible this way. You have to get a lead contractor. You have to get a contractor that is going to open up the house by doing the demo and then finish up with the touches and finishes. What do I mean by that? For example, the contractor right here in green, he's all the way out from start to finish on every single day, right? But if I give everything to him, he will be overwhelmed. He will probably would take, like I said before, maybe 30 days. And someone that is just starting, if you have a lead contractor that can do the demo, do carpentry, like replacing doors, hardware, installing, maybe replacing windows, and then you bring in someone that only is going to do the paint, which they're going to bring 5 or 6, even 7 guys I saw in the last rehab, 7 people only for paint. And then it's possible to do it in and out, right? If you bring 1 or 2 guys, just painting, it will take 15 days or maybe 20 days just to paint a house. I mean, it depends on the contractor, basically. But if you have a team just for one specific trade, like paint, for example, then they're going to come in, they're going to cover everything, they're going to paint, and in 2 days they're out. And that's half a battle right there of the whole house.
Right.
They might have to come back and do touch-ups, or maybe they do on the 3rd day. You can see they do on the exterior. Okay, they're going to be painting the trim as the trim is being installed. So you have to have at least the painter focus with a team of 5 people or 6 people in these 3 days. Okay. Right. And if you can do that in a week or 30 days, doesn't matter your experience, but you can have, okay, this part of the job is going to be done by this contractor. That's the best that he does. That's what he's capable. Like, his team is the best on it. Like, there's contractors that can do everything, but ask them what are their best at, what's their main focus, and they can get in and out and be more efficient. And for them, it's awesome. It's an awesome business to be part of a system like this, because they know they can come in and out, and as soon as they finish, they have a check the same day. So that is also help them to get organized. And a lot of contracts, they're all over the place, and they bring a contract, 1 or 2 people here, and then they have another over there, and they go into another rehab, and they're losing money. They're not making money. And if they jump into a system like this, they will be making money, and then we are protected to have the property ready and to be resell as soon as possible. Absolutely. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Oh yeah, and I mean the process is so streamlined. It obviously makes for good synergy and everyone able to interact in an efficient manner. I'll tell you, I love it. I love what you got going on.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. This is, I would encourage also to everybody that wants to do something like this, you have to go, let me see if I can share this document. So this document, I took it out of the Community Affairs website, and it's about the codes in New Jersey. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull it out. But this is basically where this business plan is based on. Learn what needs to be, what do you need permits or not, and just focus on that, and then organize a team.
Were you bringing up another document, or because we're okay?
Can you see it?
I still see the your
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see.
yeah, I guess the Excel sheet or Google Sheets.
Let me see how I can share this. New share. Okay, here it is.
Let's see.
Can you see the document now?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Great.
Okay, it's something called ordinary maintenance. Okay, and the code where all the inspectors, all the towns have to follow. And you see ordinary maintenance and shall be treated as such as by every enforcing agency. No permit for inspections of or notice to enforcing agency of ordinary maintenance shall be required. So we got to learn this. We got to learn ordinary maintenance. And when you start looking into it, you have a lot of things to do in ordinary maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, interior, exterior painting. If you do drywall, you can do up to 25% of the wall area for drywall installation. You can do wallpaper if you wanted to, window, doors, garage doors, cabinets, molding, flooring, roof, siding, replacement of any parts of deck or porch, not installing a deck, but repairing or replacing parts of it. Screens, exterior gutters, plumbing, hose bit valves, existing fixtures. This is huge. You know, a lot of people think that you have to get full permits to replace a sink or replace a toilet, or so there's a lot of things to learn and just to be in compliance. And
many towns will gladly take your money. Either, if you're pulling out the permit, they won't say, "Oh, you don't need a permit." A lot of times they'll just gladly accept it.
Absolutely. And then you probably call the town, and they might don't know this. Not everybody is the same, and there's a lot of you have to consider the interpretation of the the code.
Yeah.
And if you have to pull a permit and they say that you need a permit, and you show them this, you still need a permit, you have to pull a permit. I mean, that's the bottom line. You have to follow what they say, even though they might be wrong. But if I'm base my business plan on this, and I can buy properties that feasible to do this and deliver a good product, why not? So this is a list, and that's where
is downloadable from, because I see it says NJAC. I guess for our listeners, I know I'm going to get a lot of requests. So if they just
ordinary maintenance, I mean, this is the key, is New Jersey Administrative Code, Community Affairs, Chapter 23, Uniform Construction Code.
Excellent.
So, and actually there is an email where I found out on Community Affairs website where you can ask questions. Do you need a permit for this? And what chapter of the code should I be looking into it, and learn from it, and so you are in compliance. And a lot of things you would think you might need a permit, but maybe you don't need a permit.
Right. And especially if you have that email, at least you have something in writing that if down the road something were to pop up, you have a little bit of protection there. So
yeah, and I think it's called code. Let me see, assistance. Code assist. I'm gonna show you. So the email is code assist. Let me see if I can share that with you now. Code assist at dca .nj.gov.
Maybe it didn't load yet. We're still looking at the
okay, hold on.
Document.
Let me see. I think it's this one. Can you see now?
Yep.
So here is, I asked a question about fireplace. So they responded. So it is, and I don't know what I asked here, but this is the email address that you
Yep.
can ask the questions, and even you can call this number and they will call you back. And this is really helpful, and this is a game changer to me.
For sure. Rob's going to get a lot of calls now out of Clear Blue.
Who shared my number? Well, this is for everybody, you know, to learn, and
Yeah.
we all grow together. So
I love it. I got to say, I think this was very, very, I mean, as you can tell, I'm super impressed with it. And I think a lot of people are going to find a lot of value in this.
awesome. Well, I'm glad I can add value. You know, like I said before, this is not perfect. We're getting better and better, but it works. It definitely works. And it's awesome when you finish the rehab and, you know, in 10 days and it's already marketed. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Now I can focus on the next rehab. I can focus on my next buy and hold property, and it takes a lot of pressure off you.
I love it. Well, you just gave me ideas for you, not to give you more work, but you could, on your streams or whatnot, hey, here's day 1, day 2, day 3. I mean, I'd be glued to that.
Maybe I should do something with this one coming up in Parsippany. So, you know, everybody will see them. I think we did a couple of videos for a couple of properties that we did in Rockaway, that we did it back to back. We just started a Tuesday, we finished Monday the following week, or that rehab, and then we started another rehab on Tuesday, and we finished the following Monday, and both properties were listed in less than 10 days. So
I think it's amazing. Did we cover everything, or anything else part of the processes, or anything that left out, or you want to?
I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to share, you know, the kind of schedule, and you can do it the way you want it, but this is what's been working for us. And also the code, the ordinary maintenance, I think is important to understand, to see what you can do, what you cannot do. And another thing maybe I can share is, in one of the properties that we had just told you that we started on Tuesday, we finished the following Monday, we actually did a gas conversion. So there was oil in the house,
Right.
and we put a new furnace and with gas. So we brought the gas into the house. The gas was on the street.
Right.
Well, that can be done in a week. But as soon as we bought the property, I met NJ Natural Gas there, and I started the process. So within all the period that I was marketing the property and I was getting buyers, I marketed saying that I was going to be converted to gas.
Right.
And it took me about a couple of months before closing to have the final inspection of the new furnace that burns gas, and we closed the permits and we closed on the property. So that's a very important point.
Could you have reached out to NJ Natural Gas ahead of time with the homeowner on board, saying, look, we want to apply for this or get this in order, and knowing that it's going to be sold to you later on? That might be an option.
It is possible. It depends on the seller. This property was a bank-owned property, so it was not possible, but it could be. I mean, when you sign for a new gas line coming into the house, you're responsible to bring in the equipment within 6 months, or you have to pay for the digging and all that stuff. You probably know that. You've been through this. So maybe that's kind of tricky, where some homeowners might not want to take that commitment since they're selling the home.
Right.
But why not? You know, you just have to ask, and a lot of sellers are okay because you are providing a service, you are working with them, and many things that you're taking off their shoulder. So, you know, like this seller in Parsippany, he's letting me clean up the house before we bought it, and that's giving us ahead of time by the day when we purchase it. So, a lot of things you can just ask and get it done. So I don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate it, Mariano, especially the visual that you provided really shows, everything that goes involved. And I just, again, I love the simplicity. And I mean, it's just takes out a lot of the extra BS, the headaches, and makes the rehabbing, a lot more attractive. So again, I thank you for that. I know
problem.
a lot of people probably going to want to reach out to you. You want to tell our listeners, if you got anything going on or whatever, how they can get in touch with you, through email, social media?
Sure. I mean, the easiest way to find me is social media. I'm a lot of, well, not lately, but I like to be in social media a lot. and so everybody can find me there. But if people want to be part of what we do, also we provide a learn and earn program where people can invest with us, and I take them by the hand and I show them the rehab firsthand, and they can learn from my mistakes. So if anybody's interested on learning how we do it and also learn and earn on their money as well, they can reach out to me.
Great.
Is
So,
that okay?
and your social media is, I think, Mariano Coccoz, right?
Yeah, it's my full name, Mariano Coccoz, and you can reach out to me there, or I don't know if I can share my phone number, but
Whatever you like, email, phone number, whatever you're comfortable with.
sure. My number is 201-264-8809, and my email is mariano@resohomes.com. So, I'm always open to provide and add value to people, and this is an opportunity for someone that's going to learn from us to add value into our business. And we have a lot of private money lenders that they love this, and they love how we do things, and they get value not only in the interest that we can pay them as a private money lender, but also to they can start doing their own rehabs, which is awesome. So it's awesome seeing the transition from being a listener and how do you do things so I can perform, and now they're doing their own rehabs and help them to do that as well.
That's great. Listen, you're a great guy, stand-up guy, man. You got a lot going on. You give back, and it's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you being on, and I look forward to having you on again.
Thank you, Ryan. My pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Have a good night.